How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're talking about AMD stock. I'm up over 400% on the stock, and this is within the last 2 years' time. So this is a very short period of time, and today we're going to be breaking down the fundamentals and numbers to let you guys know if the stock is currently still a buy. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So the fundamentals. The main business model is that AMD designs processors and graphics hardware and then outsources the manufacturing to TSMC. This creates a very asset-light business model as opposed to a company like Intel where they do their own manufacturing. But basically, they design blueprints for chips, CPUs, GPUs, all that, and then they sell those blueprints to other companies for them to get made. And their business has four main segments. They have the data center, the client, the embedded, and the gaming business. Uh, if you guys see my little picture over here with Jensen, the NVIDIA CEO, getting mogged by Lisa Su. So that's a little treat for you guys. Anyways, back to the topic. The data center business. This is basically AMD's crown jewel. It is 58% of their business, and revenue is up over 100% year over year. And they're predicted to double this revenue again by 2027. And I want you to keep in mind that this is sandbagged, so it's going to be higher than that as well. I'll talk more about the sandbagging later, but just keep that in mind. Um, Server CPUs is what they sell here. They steal massive market share from Intel in hyperscale cloud computing, and then the MI 300, 400, 450, the Helios rack all serve as alternatives to NVIDIA. And this whole business model has insane growth margins, and as you guys can see, insane growth for revenue and revenue percentage growth as well. It's going to continue on this really, really good path, and the business is only going to get more and more exciting over the coming years. Um, and if you look in the past, a lot of their products weren't as competitive, so they couldn't do this. But it got to a point where their products were so competitive that they're going to be able to raise costs. They're going to be able to price it maybe a little below what Nvidia is doing, but that's still going to be an insane upgrade from where they were before. And I spotted this a while ago, to be specific, around a year and a half ago, maybe a bit more. When I first bought into AMD stock when it was $96, and now here we are today trading at just around 500. The other three segments of their business are client, embedded, and gaming. For client, up 23% year over year, generated 3.1 billion in revenue. It's basically everyday the customers, so it's people like you and me, personal PCs. They also do commercial use, etc. So all of that stuff. Embedded up 90% year over year, doing just under a billion in revenue, super high profit margins on chips, and they provide power for critical non-consumer infrastructure. So anything that isn't going to be client, it's going to be over here. So there's like government, aerospace, medical, industrial, automotive, robotics, and etc. And then lastly, gaming. This one was a little bit of an issue, down 31% year over year, doing 779 million in revenue. I believe this is only around 8% of the business though, so don't look into this too much. And the low point is also, I believe, temporary, as Sony and Microsoft have begun to launch next gen hardware. I don't want to say it's a cyclical business because technically the whole company is a cyclical business, but I want to say this is it's basically less important than the other stuff. I do believe that it is going to turn around as these companies launch more things, but even if it doesn't turn around, it provides pretty much no impact on the overall business. Some financial metrics for the company: a trailing PE of 129 and a forward PE of around 60x. The reason these are quite high is heavy reinvestment cycle. However, something important to note is that if you look at the PEG ratio, it's sitting at 1.2 to 1.3 times. Pretty underappreciated compared to the broader mega cap tech names that you can see. So I think it goes to show AMD is still undervalued where it is today, because you got to look. They have gross margin expansion. They have top line revenue growth accelerating. The data center revenue growth is really accelerating, and this is the main main part of the business, over 50% of the business, they have EPS acceleration, they have very strong cash flow and a balance sheet and a good management team, and the business is looking better than ever, and it's going to continue to look better than ever. And I still think people aren't ready for that. And I've been saying this pretty much ever since I started buying the stock that, oh, it was going to turn around and it's going to be better than what anyone's expecting. And it turned around and was better than what anyone expected. And now I'm saying people still aren't really grasping at what they're really doing with the company, what Lisa Su is really doing with the company. And people aren't really listening. So I guess we'll see in another year's time, see if I was right or not. But on to Lisa Su. She's been managing AMD for over a decade. She has had some extraordinary leadership in the company, in my opinion. One of the best CEOs, not only in the space they're in the overall tech space, I could dare say even the overall market. She took AMD from being bankrupt, a $2 stock, to now being over or around $500, and they're completely dominating the space. They have Nvidia scaled, they scared, they have these other companies a little bit, and trembling. It's like, oh, AMD. And listen, something I do have to mention is I'm not expecting AMD to overtake Nvidia. In no circumstance am I expecting that to happen. I guess there's a chance it could, but that's not what I'm expecting. And it doesn't need to happen for AMD to perform tremendously well and for the stock to yield tremendous returns. So keep that in mind. It's not like AMD versus Nvidia technically. It's mainly Nvidia is doing their own thing, and AMD is going to be able to benefit off Nvidia. Management, Lisa Su, everyone on the team has had consistent execution throughout the years. You look at their beat and raises; it's quite a nice thing. And another thing to talk about this consistent execution, they sandbag the heck out of all their numbers. They every single quarter is basically set up so that next quarter they can really beat it and then they can raise. So I think coming soon, I thought it was going to happen this past quarter, but it didn't. But I think coming soon, they're going to really blow some of these quarters out of the water because of their sandbag revenue. And I think when that does happen, the stock easily shoots up 20-30% just like off the earnings alone, and it builds heavy momentum for the company as well. Because another thing to keep in mind is I'm going to talk about my price targets later on, but when stuff happens with stocks like these, it technically, based on fundamentals, oh, it might not go to this price until 2 years out or whatever, but the market isn't in the current moment. The market also looks ahead and looks towards what's going to happen, and sometimes it'll price that in as well. So I could see a chance that AMD front runs a lot of their uh, growth technically in the stock, and it goes up a ton before the revenue and all that stuff tops. So keep that in mind. It's a very exciting company. I think once people do realize how exciting it is, they're going to run into the stock. And also, these analysts are going to have to up their price targets, up, 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 up. And it's going to create kind of like a domino effect where I think when that does finally happen, which I think it probably happens within the next year, the stock is going to go on a huge run. And if it doesn't happen in the next year, the stock will go on a huge run over the next 2 or 3 years. So either way you look at it, I think the stock goes on a huge run. They have entered enterprise credibility, and also they have real competitive products, like I said before. So, final decision. What do I think? Buy, buy, buy. Listen, my price targets are remaining the same despite earnings, despite this, despite that, despite what's happening in the market. Listen, calm down. $700 end of year. That's my price target. I think it's very possible. I think it's probably going to happen. 1,000 to 1,500 next 3 to 5 years. I think that this could also front run within the next year or two, and it could be 1,500 in under 2 years. So look at it like that, 300 or 200% upside. Pretty good buy. Worst case scenario, it goes up slightly. Still a good buy. I think in the long term, it's going to here no matter what. So any way you look at it, I think this is such a great buy. It's my biggest position in the portfolio. I think that's around 35-ish percent, and I'm already up 405%. And the fact that I haven't sold any shares, the fact that I still have this much conviction in the name, just proves to you how much I believe in it. And I'm not bullshitting. I'm not like, it's a 2% weight in the portfolio, so I don't really care what happens. Like, if this goes wrong for me, it's gonna really upset the portfolio. So it goes to show I'm putting my cards on the table for you guys. I really believe in AMD. This is one of my highest conviction names, and I think it would make a great addition to any one of your portfolios. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and let me know down below what stock you would want me to research next. Leave a comment with that, and I'll try and get to it, and I'll feature you guys in my next video where I do an analysis on that stock. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.